The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here. I have one of my favorite people in the world with me, Maria Gonzalez. She's one of our clients. Actually came to a live event. I got to meet her, and she was the quietest one there wasn't even close. And she's just such an amazing human being and doing such a great job with her business. And I think as a single mom, she's just winning, and she's doing a lot of things that I think some of you guys out there in the same situation or similar situation, I just thought her story and her actions and her struggles and what's going on would be of massive value. So Maria, why don't you say hello and tell us a little bit about your company, and then we'll kind of dive into where you were and where you're at.
Okay. My name is Maria Gonzalez. I am from Thousand Oaks, California, and I have a commercial company. My focus is just commercial facilities. I started in 2019, so I've been working my way up little by little.
Awesome. So that event, we're recording this in end of July. When was that event? The
event was in April 14th.
Okay, so April to May, May to June, June, July. So about 3.5 months. Perfect. So when you came, and I've forgotten because I know we've been working together, so I kind of know now, Maria. I've almost forgotten 3.5 months ago, Maria. What was going on with your business? Kind of what your life looked and felt like, growth or not growth, profits, good, bad, somewhere in the middle. Give us the whole picture of what you were feeling and experiencing.
So 3 months ago, before I went out to the live event, I was super frustrated. I remember having the call with you and I was like tearing up, but I was just to the breaking point. I honestly wanted to quit my business because I wasn't really seeing, am I even profiting? It's too much stress, too much to hassle with. And I don't even know if I just didn't have a path away. And it was too overwhelming. I literally was contemplating getting a job, work for someone else. So I was really just ready to throw in my towel. The whole reason I started the business was because I wanted to provide for my kids and have that flexibility around them. So I just didn't see the point of my business because I didn't see my profits or anything like that. So I was just I need to make a change, or I'm going to stay stuck or just stay the same. And when you stay the same, you're not growing. You just become complacent or you go down. So
yeah, and I hate to be a negative Nelly, but if inflation's at 8% and you stay the same, you actually got 8% smaller, or you're certainly 8% less able to buy crap that you want in the world. So, and I've also found in business, if you're not growing, you are, aside from inflation, it's very hard to stay still. It's certainly for a long period of time. You got to either be growing or you're typically shrinking. So what made you, no offense, a lot of people would have just wrapped up and gave up. What made you decide, I'm going to fight for this thing?
I just, I was already working 2 jobs before I even started my business, and I couldn't see myself going back, knowing that being an owner, of my business was giving me the freedom, to be able to work around my children. I have my family that helps me, but as a single mom, the majority of things, I rely on, and I don't want to be a crutch to them too all the time. So I didn't want to give up hope. It was very dim, but I just needed this to work, and I just knew I had to make a change. And honestly, you were just my lifeline. So I'm so happy that I got to meet you and just go out to the live event.
So thank you. You're so sweet. Maria's the best, by the way. She's also, aside from being a good business owner, she's just a wonderfully nice human being. So again, that was a very small event, so we couldn't have a lot of people there. And we pretty much just gave you everything we knew how to give you in 3 days. So I'm sure it's a little overwhelming. Give me just your experience. Because again, for the people that couldn't be there, which is 99.9999% of the world, what did you get good and bad? What kind of freaked you out and scared you? What gave you hope? What was the big thing that if you're like, all right, if I could only give one thing, for a friend of yours that you just got back from this event that you invested all this time and money to go to, it was like, what was the takeaway? What would you tell to them, if I may ask?
Honestly, I was just, even though it was 3 short days, and a lot of information, just by the first night, I was so blown away. And I think the biggest takeaway was seeing like my numbers. Like I've never seen my numbers before. I thought I was doing good and, and I was just looking at the revenue. But when you break everything down, like I was on the red a lot. So the biggest takeaway I would be understanding like how much I'm actually making for each of my, people I service.
And that's very common, especially for newer business owners, is to focus on the top line, which is the ego, because kind of our friends or ourselves, or it's a weird thing where we're like, I'm doing 10 grand or 20 grand or 30 grand a month in revenue. And if you're coming from a working job where you made $4,600 a month, having $20,000 a month sounds like a lot of money. But if it's like, well, I have to give 10 of that to the laborers, or I've got, and then there's insurance, like it really doesn't matter. There's multiple, multi-million dollar companies that lose money. So easier said than done in terms of like, go to profit, know exactly where it's going. So for you, it was A, understanding your numbers a little deeper level, B, understanding kind of which customers were contributing. And if I remember right, which customers were actually costing you and not only not contributing, but yeah. So that's a great takeaway. So what did you do and how that kind of work out?
Well, I followed your advice on like what to do next was to immediately increase prices.
Not on everybody, by the way. This wasn't just a general, just raise prices some amount on everybody. It was, we went through person by person and knew exactly how much to raise on exact person, how to do it, all that good stuff. But continue.
Yeah. So based on like, the immediate, like the ones I thought I was like breaking even, and it was like I was giving them money to go clean. So on those, I did have that conversation with my customers and let them know like, hey, I do need to increase your price, in order for me to be able to keep my business legal and just provide that great service that, keep that going. And unfortunately, not everyone, was able to, or they didn't want to. So I ended up losing some clients, but I think I ended up winning, even though like I was losing people. It was still a win because I wasn't giving away my money anymore.
And that's enough, man. I'm so glad that you said that, because I'm actually gonna pull up Maria. I won't share anything private, Maria, but I'm pulling up her numbers because I'm like, I want to see how it went. So a lot of people, we get confused and we think, again, it's top line. So I lost a customer and we think that's bad. It's like, well, it depends on the customer. If it's the wrong customer that's taking more than they give, that's a good thing. It leaves room. So the net profit almost always goes up, but when you're thinking about which customers to take, I always encourage you to look at the gross profit. So after you pay your employees, right? So if you're like, this job is $200 a month and it costs me $100 a month to do the work, no expense. There's other expenses that you have to take into account, but right now just gross profit is $200, $100 in payrolls, 100 left over. It is A-okay and actually common for people's gross sales, right? Total money every month to go down, but gross profit, what's left after payroll, to go up. And it's weird because if you're just math and you're just looking at it from a strictly business standpoint, which I would highly encourage you to, that's a good thing. And if you go with emotions, we can start feeling bad. Okay, so perfect. I'm not gonna give if I give anything that you don't want me to share, just tell me, we'll edit it out or redo it. But I've got, as long as you're original and you're optimized, your income went down by 10 grand a month, which is like, holy crap, I'm scared. But the gross profit you made, what was left over after payroll, went up by 50%. So you're actually making more money working 2/3. So way less work, way more money. And if you don't want me to put that in, we'll edit that out. I won't share it, but I just want to encourage, because I think people get afraid. And if you just look at your top line, you could have an emotional response of, oh my gosh, that's no good. But if you look at like an owner or a person that does math, you're like, so I'm doing less work for more money. Obviously, like the more money's good, the less work is a cherry on the top. But it's like, no, I have to have that top line revenue. It's like, you can't pay bills with, I'd rather be a $200,000 company making $100,000 than $1 million company making even $100,000, because there's so much more risk and effort and work and whatever. So anyway, I just looked at your numbers and I was like, I just want to make sure we're not telling people like, oh, I lost some customers. I'm like, oh, it's okay. You did fine. I'm looking at the numbers.
No, yeah, I had went in because Lindsay gave me a 2.0 version. So I went in and entered all my before when I started, and then what I have now. And it's just the difference is like amazing. Like, I'm like, oh, yes.
So let's talk about, that's great. More money is always fantastic, but you're a single mom. You've got other people that depend on you. Let's talk about your life. Did anything change, or what changed, if anything, about how you work, how much you work, how you relate to work, stress? Like, how did that work in terms of how this business affected your personal life and your kids?
Okay. Well, I think like before I was kind of in denial, because I thought I was doing good and making good money. But when I learned about the numbers, I realized, that was not the case. So I remember that we had a conversation and you had told me like, you used the analogy of like, when you are taking apart a house and you told me it's going to look ugly, but then you're going to start rebuilding it. So that's kind of like what I feel like I've been doing these couple months,
So let me, just to fill in the blanks for the listeners, because I remember that story, I remember that cover, and that place that we got to stay was so good. I remember the feel of every room and sitting outside, and it was a beautiful experience. But I remember that conversation. So when I was younger and dumber, I would buy houses and fix them up and then resell them. And you'd buy a house for $30,000, right? And say you're going to do $60,000 worth of work to it. You're bringing it 360 and you want to sell it for 500, right? Or whatever you're going to try and do. So you go in and you spend $5,000 demoing the thing. So you've got a $360,000 house. That's what you paid for it. That's what it's worth. Great. You spend or pay someone, a couple of weeks to demo it and smash it and rip out all the carpet, all the stuff you're not going to use and where you throw it out. And it costs you $5,000. So now you're in the house, $365,000, but instead of it being worth $360, it's worth $250, right? Because you can't get a loan. No one's going to lend on it. It's unlivable. It's not financeable. It actually looks and feels like, oh no, this has been a horrible thing. But then you wait another 2 months, you put the other $55,000 in it, and now it's a $500,000 house. So you kind of, the first, after you've done it a couple of times, it doesn't bother you anymore. But the first couple of times you look around, you're like, all right, well, we kind of really bet on this one. I hope it turns out the way we plan. And, once it comes together, it feels great. So I feel like Maria, for a minute, I don't know if you tell us if you're still there, if you're through it, but you were looking around your business and the carpets are all ripped out. And I'm telling you, it's okay. This is much more value. We're like, I don't know, man, feels a little barren here. Real quick, Cleaning Nation, if you can think about how you found out about this podcast, maybe a tweet, a Facebook message, iTunes search, some sort of Instagram post, the only way we grow is word of mouth. We don't do paid ads. We don't run ads. You are it. The only ask I have is if you're getting value, share the love. However you found out about this, if it's a review or post, whatever it is, do that. Pay it forward so the next cleaning company owner can change their life as well. Back to the show.
Yeah, so that's what I was, looking back, and that's exactly what you told me. It's exactly how it felt like, the process. So I did have to change a lot of things because, everything is so different, but it made me be more involved in my business and really know what is necessary for me to be involved in, and learn how to actually slice correctly, delegate the tasks. So I'm not doing everything myself. But I'm sorry.
Well, let's just make it easy. Let's talk cleaning, because I know you were cleaning, I don't say quite a bit. I know you were cleaning, in my opinion, quite a bit when you got there. How much are you cleaning now, and what changed, so we can kind of, if other people are like, well, I'd like to make that change, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I was cleaning about, I want to say 15 to 20 hours a week on top of just trying to run the business myself. So I still am cleaning, but I significantly reduced the hours I'm working, maybe to 5 hours a week. I'm trying to finish getting those spot filled by, the hiring funnel, which is amazing. But yeah, I I definitely am cleaning less, and it's great. So I just can't wait to just finish everything and just stop cleaning.
So I'll yell at you offline because 3 months in, you should be out, girlfriend. But
I know.
You're my guest, so I'm going to let it slide. All right. So I just want to, again, if you were trying to put myself in, I'm your, girlfriend at home or whatever, and you just went to this event, you're coming back and sharing with me, or guy friend, I guess, doesn't matter. I'm your friend and I've got a cleaning business. And you told me, well, I went through my clients and I figured out who's profitable, and I got rid of some that weren't profitable and others that weren't profitable. I made profitable. So now I'm making a lot less more money for less work. For some reason, I'm still cleaning 5 hours a week as opposed to 15, but we'll let that slide. And I said, what else? What's the other big takeaway you got? What did you see that I can, as your friend who owns a cleaning company, kind of put into place in my business?
Definitely how to find your people, because you can for the longest time, I was just hiring people to hire, like if it's got a body, it can work. But I came across a lot of inconsistency, unreliability. It was just like a pain in the butt. So I was tired of it's like, how can you not just do the basic? So I would say the core values, understanding what my core values as a person is, and then hiring people based on those core values. It was such a game changer. I don't I feel like I'm taking people that share the same beliefs and values as I do. So I'm not stressed, I know I can count on these people.
So why don't you share your core values? Let's start there.
Okay. So my top 3 core values are put others first, work hard, and tell the truth.
Beautiful. And those are so compelling. Those are going to be very charged either way, right? If I'm not someone that tells the truth or wants to work hard or doesn't like putting others first, just not going to be interested in your opportunity, which is great. We definitely want to just keep me out, right? And if those are what I've been doing in my life anyway, and maybe I feel like no one understood me or nobody gave a care, my coworkers didn't feel that way, or the owner wasn't always telling the truth, and I see your ad and your opportunity, I'm going to be super excited. So from an employee standpoint, sorry, something in my throat.
Okay.
Yeah, I can totally see. Good thing my job doesn't depend on me talking. I'd be in trouble. So from an employee standpoint, I see what I'd be wildly appealing to the right employees and wildly off-putting to the wrong employees. So great job on that. That said, when it comes to you, tell us a little bit about why you're like, it just feels so much easier. It's so much better. It's a game changer. Why? How are you experiencing hiring specifically differently than you were before? Like, how does it feel different? How is it better? Just so people can kind of get an idea of like, well, what's this magic core value stuff and how does it actually work, or how does it make my life better?
Well, I just think it's easier because it really allows me to weed out the people who are just there just to get, just to find a job, which obviously we all need, but it doesn't matter, I feel like, where you work, as long as like you work hard and you put your effort in everything you do. So sometimes, people can be really careless. So I feel like the weeding process to finding the right candidate really has helped me. And just from just matching with those core value, prospects or, candidates, it really just adds more value to the team as a whole. And it creates a good environment. So I think when I know someone is teachable and willing to learn and listen, from when I, give feedback depending on their cleaning or things like that, it's good to know that you're like, oh, I know they're going to complain about it because I'm telling them, so yeah, so I just feel like it makes everything easier regarding like how you speak to them, how you, train them, how they get along with others, in your team. Just everything about it makes it so much better.
So almost 1,000 podcasts. I think this is the first one I've had the hiccups. So write it down, kids. This is the one where Mike has hiccups and tries to continue broadcasting. So let's see how this goes. There we go. One snuck out right when I wasn't looking. So I'm hearing a theme, if I can get it out, Maria, is really getting clear both on what you have and being realistic with that in terms of the employees and customers. Maybe you thought you had the right of each. And then once you got clear on what you wanted and you had an actual standard in terms of customers and employees, maybe realizing that isn't what I wanted. So for me, and tell me if I'm putting words in your mouth, I'm hearing clarity. I got clear on who my customers really were. I got clear on the customers I really wanted. And once I had that clarity, it's so much easier to either get rid of the customers that aren't who I want or turn them into who I want. And going forward, I'll only get customers I want. And the same thing on employees. I feel like you were like, I know these aren't what I want, but I don't know why. And I don't know how to get the other ones. And then you got clear on what you want. And you're like, okay, now I know what it's supposed to look like. And these are now super obvious that they're not the right ones. Is that what I'm hearing? And if so, we'll let you finish with this. What words would you give to others that want clarity on customers and employees so they can do the same upgrade that you did?
Yeah, I would definitely say what you just said is right on. It also gave me the opportunity to know who I want to serve, because I had clients that were, not the best fit for me, and that's okay. I just had to learn how to let them go. And I think that I am more stress-free, when you're working with the right clients. It also makes you wanting to serve so much more. But I would definitely encourage anyone that wants to, have a pathway to join, because I was so lost. I didn't know where to go. Like, I could listen to 1,000, YouTube videos, that's what I was doing before. And I could think, I'm going to do it on my own. Like I can do it with they say YouTube University. But honestly, this has been such a great value. I remember thinking when I signed up, like, I hit the jackpot. I was like, I'm not going to tell him because he's going to charge me more.
Could you imagine? You say you did a great job. I'm like, more money, please.
But honestly, it's knowing where you are, where you want to go, and having a clear pathway to get there. And especially the support that you get with like Suzanne and with all the team members that you have, as part of the program is just so amazing. And the community that you come into and everyone understanding and being, knowing where everyone's at and encouraging one another. And that's so awesome. So I would definitely, don't think it too much. Just do it.
And well, thank you for the kind words. Not planned and not endorsed. Not only do I not pay her to say that, she's paying me to say it. So what kind of crazy relationship we have going on? And apparently I should have charged her more is what mine's been taken. Sincerely though, the one other thing I want you guys to get, especially those of you on the podcast that can't see, I think my biggest excitement for Maria is I don't know that I knew, certainly not to the level you just shared, how ready you were to kind of give up on your business and your dream. And the thing I'm most excited about is just the energy. Like, there's nothing about you, how you're showing up right now, that is despondent or hopeless or giving up. You're like a woman with a mission and excited and loving her business again. And money's great and cleaning less is great and freedom is great. But just that what I'm doing is important and I'm doing it well. It really warms my heart. I'm just proud of you for growing and just saying, this isn't the life I want. I'm not going to live anymore, and get some help. And to see you, I don't know, blossom sounds like such a weird word, but just to see you grow has been phenomenal. So proud of you. Okay. Cleaning Nation, Maria and I could sit and hold hands and skip and tell each other how great we are all day, but you're not interested in that. Hopefully you got some value. If you want more help, growmycleaningcompany.com, tons of free resources. And if you're not getting the results that you want just from the podcast, reach out, let us know. We'll see if we can't help you. We're here for you. We're here for you. Talk soon. See you. Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend. Share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431, 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.